you to drink Seriana bar for you.
Because earlier you said that you wanted to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was somebody else's.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Behind the Blocks. I am one of your hosts out of the many we have today. I'm UGW Tim Bear, and joining me today is, of course,
UGW Ether. I'm your community nerd, and we're hanging out with our executive producers. Introduce yourself.
My name is Kimber.
With a K. Don't get confused with Timber
like
with a
I
T.
do all the time.
And your name is?
Seriana.
Hey, Sarah. And of course, today we have a very special guest. You probably know her voice, but I'm glad to say she is not a disembodied voice of a high-powered computer. She is, in fact, a live human person. This is not a hologram.
I am UGW Kells Bells.
That's right, Kells Bells on stream for the first time. And the only reason why we don't let her on camera is because she is so photogenic that it grosses me out.
Yeah, we don't want to be upstage for
Yeah, come on.
stream.
Every single stream.
Because we
not,
would.
that can't.
We could.
That's not
And not only that, we have another special guest whom I'm actually particularly excited to hang out with.
We have Newt.
Newt.
He's feeling a little shy right now, so Newt's kind of
Yeah, we'll get the Newt cam going.
yeah.
The new
Newt's gonna
cam,
be
we got the new
hanging
cam
out,
going.
pooping on everyone, probably as birds
Yeah.
do, but also helping us.
As they are wont to do.
Yeah,
Yes.
so today we're working on, we're doing some craft stuff, getting ready, making some blocks, having some fun. Kells Bells put together a paper craft for us that's actually pretty darn cool, where she printed out the, can we show off the, yeah? She printed out the blocks, and we're cutting them out and we're folding them. Ooh, let me get a little shiny sheen up in your business. In addition, today we're actually having a pretty important conversation. You know, one of the things that is great about working at this studio, of the many things, is that we really take community stuff seriously. We founded the studio in an effort to create a game that brings people together.
Yep.
Absolutely. And Timber and I both have a huge passion for that. And it is matched by the other folks in our studio working on the game. This very last stream that we did on Monday, the Maker Monday stream, we had a tournament, and it reminded both Timber and I about why community is so crucial.
Yeah.
And why, and honestly, like, we got, and I'm not gonna, you know, I mean, there's video evidence of it, so I probably shouldn't try to lie. We got a little emotional about it.
Yeah, way emotional about it, really.
Well, talk to me a little bit, Timber, about why did you get misty? Because I saw it in your eyes. I looked at your eyes, and you were emotionally moved by the actions of the people in our community. So talk to me, walk me through it.
Okay, well, I guess, you know, I've always been a community person. I've always worked either independently or within gaming communities to try to make it a positive place. So it's just, for me, it's something really special when you see people give just so much effort into it. Because, like it's one thing, like, I don't know, this is our jobs, you know?
Yeah.
But to see everyone come together, and it really was a communal effort. I mean, you know, we did the tournament, and Q.U.I.R.K, and then, like, Dog Stars hopped in, and everyone was communicating and helping.
Loops and everybody was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know Loops gave away his grand prize
to
to
Dog Stars
with,
and wanted to share the rest of the wealth with everybody.
he gave, and that to me was just like so special. And you cultivate a community, and it really doesn't feel real until stuff like that happens, until we have community interacting. And
Epic.
it was epic.
It was the first one that we've ever done.
It was the first one that we've ever done. I'm not sure what Chewy's bona fides are, but man, that guy pulled it off.
Yeah, just so much effort into it.
Beautiful bracket.
Yeah, the bracket really impressed me a lot.
I was shocked. I mean, when you pulled the brackets up, the winners and learners, I was like, what the what? Chewy.
Yes, and also welcome Chewy. Hi, Dog.
Hey,
Stars.
Chewy. Hi, Dog Stars.
Hey, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Zealand.
Hi, Zealand. This is not a paper newt. This is
It's a
the
real
real
newt.
one.
It's the real newt. He is
It's a
a
real
living
newt.
bird.
Yeah, Timber, I agree with you. I think, we can sit and you're like, attack of the birds. You and I share a lot of the same philosophy when it comes to sort of handling community folks, and we want to empower people to feel like they have some control over the direction of things, and it's not just lip service,
No.
and to see people accept that invitation to
Yeah.
contribute in a deeper way, and to own pieces of
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's really.
We see it in our streamers. We see it in our, and the people who
on Discord.
watch.
Yeah, our viewers, our Discord.
Yes, yeah.
All of that, and it's just incredible.
And also, it's that helping, caring.
It's thoughtful. It's
It's
so
thoughtful.
And for me, it's. I don't want to say rarity because I have seen it before a lot on the internet, but it's just remarkable.
It is.
It really is.
It is remarkable. Yeah,
think.
and I find that there are certain gaming communities where things are fairly competitive and toxic.
Yes.
And you
Being
always
part of
find
those,
great
it's
people, but those communities can oftentimes bring out the worst and even the best
Yeah.
of people.
Oh yeah.
And that isn't to say that our game doesn't have its competitive. I mean, we did a whole tournament.
Yeah.
But man, the fun we had with it,
What
it's
a
just
sweet
different.
tournament, though. Like everyone was
Yeah.
such a good sport about it, and I have Kelly is fast.
Chewy, you're the best. I love it. So Chewy says, I'm a teenager with zero experience with that stuff, Troy. So it's funny as we never would have known.
No, never. It was handled like a total pro.
Like a total pro. And we rolled with it. It was great. Everybody was super supportive. And that's what we want to talk about today. Kimber, with a K, I have a question for you. When you think about your experiences or your thinking about interacting with the online world, what are some of the concerns that you've got when you think about playing games with them or talking with them or sharing pictures or any of that kind of stuff?
Well, my concern is that, like, sometimes I don't really feel safe
Yeah.
when I'm on the internet because I just don't know them and stuff.
Yeah.
But sometimes there's really kind people out there, which I really like that there is
Yeah.
kind people out there. Because I've had a lot of kind online friends before,
Yeah.
and, like, I play games on the Xbox a lot, and I have a lot of kind friends on there, same
Yeah.
with my brother. But sometimes there's some people that my brother meets that aren't really nice, so, like, I'm really concerned about that.
Yeah. Does it shock you? Does it shock you like it shocks me when you deal with all these folks who are super nice, and then suddenly you run into somebody who's just, there's really no other word for it, but abusive online? It's how do you handle that? First of all, how does it make you feel?
It really makes me, like, I don't know, like, how to explain it, but, like, it really makes me really sad to think about it.
Yeah.
That there's people on the internet that don't really think about others' feelings.
Yeah.
Like, personally, when I'm on the internet, I think about other people's feelings and I'm very nice to everybody.
Yeah.
Because I love to talk with people all the time.
Yeah.
Because talking to people is a nice feeling. To have.
Yeah. Well, and you're very good at it. You're an excellent communicator. You got a wicked sense of humor.
Yeah.
And I love
We were
it.
cracking up.
And it kind of does it deflate you a little bit when you run into that negativity or that hostility?
Yeah, it really brings me down when I when I see people like that. Because,
Yeah.
like, I don't like people like that. Like, nobody likes people like that.
Yeah.
And I've personally seen other people on the internet, like, standing up for others who are treated by meaner people.
Yeah.
I've seen that a lot on the internet, which I'm really proud of. For
Yeah,
the
yeah.
internet to come that far and do that.
That's great.
Because I'm personally one of those people who would do that, even though I'm not really that brave. Sometimes, like, I usually do that if I do see it.
You know, it's funny you said you're really not that brave, but I have a question really for the table. When you think about when you see somebody online that is being mistreated, do you intervene? Do you say something? Do you? I mean, how about you, Sariana? When have you had experiences where you saw someone, maybe even in real life? I mean, if someone was feeling blue or being treated poorly, what do you do?
Yep. And I want to extend
Yeah.
these questions also to chat, please.
Yes,
We are
yeah,
talking
weigh
all
in,
about
absolutely.
Community Day. We would love to hear your experiences, how you deal with online communities, and all that. So please chime in.
Yeah, and I want to just agree with Dockstars as well. Jack Jackson stream
Yeah.
chatting up, but yeah, treat people the way you'd like to be treated. And we just ended on we just asked a question of sort of the whole table panel style. When you see somebody who is in a position of being, mistreated, what do you do? It could be difficult.
Yeah.
Well, that hasn't really happened to people a lot more this year that I've known of.
Uh-huh.
But last year in elementary school, I have seen a lot of people being treated that way. Like when I was in 5th grade, I was a recess leader, and I actually people were bullying some kids, and they went over. They were alone. They started crying, and they
Oh,
asked
no.
them what was wrong, and they made them friends again. So
Well, that's nice. Okay, so what you're saying is you were, surprise, surprise, a leader. I'm not shocked at that notion. And you went and had a position where you were recess leader, and so you saw that someone was hurt and hurting, and you talked to them, reached out to them, asked them how they were doing. So that actually is a really great technique for dealing with situations where sometimes you may be a little afraid to interact directly with a bully. I know I would be.
Yeah,
If something,
absolutely.
because you don't want to be turned on you, and there's a lot of anxiety and anxiousness. But what I like is the notion of taking the attention off the bully and to the person who is hurting and saying, "How are you doing? Are you okay? Is there something I
a
can
great
do
way
for
to
you?"
handle that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it means the world to people in that situation. Just to be asked, just to be like, "Hey, how you doing?"
Yeah.
Like even that question alone,
Yeah.
sometimes I feel is even more powerful than confronting who was hurting them.
Right.
You know,
Yeah. And I also like the idea of participating in programs like a recess leader or other leadership programs where you can be connected with caring adults who you can go to them and say, "Hey,
Yeah.
I need help," or if something is funky is going on, and you're dealing with a weird situation on the internet, and there are plenty of weird situations on the internet. And I think we're a weird situation on the internet, but that you can kind of take control and go and speak to an adult and get some help.
Yeah, absolutely. Julie. Oh, hi.
Stream
Thanks,
name.
Julie.
So I am curious, Timber.
Yes.
When it comes to online community building, now you had said earlier, you're like, it's a job, and it is. Like let's not be silly. We get paid to do these things. Do you find yourself ever feeling like you would do this for free?
Yeah, funny you mentioned that, because I did for quite some time.
Tell me all about it.
So yeah, I started a community called Twitch San Diego. We're a community of streamers.
Where were they located?
What? I have some words for you off stream, sir. Yeah, so I started bringing people together basically for the love of it. We met in person monthly as well as online, and that kind of sparked, I'd get the same feelings I do now of it's so cool to watch people who were strangers before you introduce them.
Yeah.
And then they're friends by the end of
Yep.
the night. And so that was like the ultimate, like, oh, this is so cool.
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
we did it. Like this is, you know, and in this age of technology and the internet, and we have so many resources to connect to people, I find somehow it's harder to connect to people at times in the sense
Really
that
good point.
to really connect. So to have those in-person chats and to have the streams and to know people by name is so powerful. Because, you know, you talk to people online in your games, but... And I've met people who I've known for years online. My roommate now, I met, she was a viewer on Twitch. She'd come in and watch my cosplay streams. And now we're roommates! And that's so cool that the internet can do that. But it made all the difference to meet them in person and to have that connection.
It is really,
so cool.
that is interesting because I have never really thought about how streaming has changed. It has opened the opportunity for you to get to know the people because you can type, and when you have big personalities like you and me and everybody here at this table, we can type and joke and laugh and interact online and communicate and do those things. But sometimes you really don't know the person until you can actually connect with them face to face, and streaming gives you that opportunity. Hey, Raffies!
Hey, Raffies, welcome!
Welcome to the stream. We are doing Behind the Blocks today, and we are making blocks on Behind the Blocks because
making big blocks, little blocks,
Kel's
small blocks.
Bells put together some paper craft stuff. She also she has been. If you look behind us, you can see. We're a small independent studio, and that's the excuse we're using to do crafts while we're working.
Yay! Kelly is amazing.
So block your head with the ice.
A nice head. A block head.
You have a nice blockhead. I gotta say, the ice block is.
It's gorgeous.
It's exquisite.
Yes.
I know, I love the ice block.
It's really cool.
Get a close
It's
up of it.
get it over here in the craft cam.
Yes.
That's what I do.
I dig it.
It's
Get
beautiful.
a little look at
Ooh,
the.
It looks like actual ice.
It's
So it's a cardboard.
overexposed, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's a box like we were using for the brick that I just put together, and then some other pieces of cardboard to get the texture,
It looks so good.
3D texture. So yeah,
I like it.
This might be my new favorite block.
It-
Before it,
it-
was the
The
Dynamite.
the dynamite.
The dynamite is really nice.
it's dynamite.
It's dynamite. It really
It is dynamite. So Kelly, you are a person who works very closely with, I'm gonna say, influencing thought on the internet. Like you create videos and media. Every good thing that you see associated with this whole shenanigan that we like to call streaming. The reason why the stream runs, all of that good stuff is because of Kelly. Because Timber and I, we just want to get on and laugh and have fun.
Yeah.
And Kelly does all the work. But what do you think about community and the power you've got to influence the way people think about a topic or the way they interact with people, and how important is that? Yeah, go ahead.
I'm listening.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go find some more of these. We have a.
Oh yes, I
deficit in
know. I
You have
can.
more?
Yeah.
Okay.
More of what?
Oh, we need some more. We've all got open boxes, but no way to.
No,
Exactly. I literally
Will
just
you?
help
Will you? How about you and I do this?
I already put mine
What?
together.
How'd you do it? Oh,
We can
I was like, how do you do it? It's magic.
Get it all faster. Matt,
But
to answer your
back
question,
to you, yeah, Kels.
Well, yeah, I think video is one of the most powerful tools out there right now. And one thing I love about working here and what attracted me to UGen was the huge emphasis from the very beginning on building community and servicing that community.
Yeah.
And with all these live streams, we do 3 a week,
Yeah.
and we're a little tiny studio of,
Yeah, we're supporting 3 streams a week, and then a lot goes into putting those streams together. For you, are you, as a person who does video, oftentimes folks in your position spend more time behind the scenes
Yeah.
than, and we always begged you to mic up and get on stream and be a part of what we're doing.
Yeah,
and
it's good that you guys have asked me to do that. It's a new skill. I've
I was trying to
not
point
been
that to
in
you.
front of the camera much at all.
Do you feel like it is more inspiring to do what you do when you are able to interact directly with the people that are, our community?
Yeah, I do feel that way. I think it was a learning curve for me. I'm with you about just kind of being like a little bit, just a little bit scared of the internet and the commenters and the people, But the fact that we are in control of building our community, we took it by the reins and guided it in the right direction in a really positive way, has made me a lot less scared.
Sure, yeah. Giving you a little bit more strength and less concern about people being abusive or,
Nice. And we agree, referees, we do love Poot Loops. He's a great guy.
Poot Loops is a great guy.
Talk about somebody on the internet who's nice.
What's funny, Poot Loops, sorry, we always talk about our community while they're watching, well, it's because we really truly enjoy them, and we mentioned this about 1,000,000 times. We had some time to hang out with Poot Loops in person at TwitchCon, and what an embodiment of a community person. Active and engaged.
Yeah, he's just trying to.
It's just like nibble. But really active and engaged, but using their powers for good. I know you're like, chew on this paper. But really using their powers for good.
Yeah.
Clearly, Poot Loops has mastered Q.U.I.R.K. Poot Loops kicks our butt all over the place in matches. But there's good sportsmanship there. Yeah. There's thoughtfulness there. That's the kind of thing, So, Timber, when you are interacting, because we read every comment, every review, every person. We go to places where you may not know that we're there. We eavesdrop. We're looking in your windows at night while you're sleeping. No? Okay. Sorry, we don't do that. But talk to me a little bit about the kind of person you look for when you're looking for a leader.
So some of the qualities that I look for, I think the biggest thing I look for, which I think is a trait that goes really underrated in communities, is flexibility and patience. I like to find people who can go with the flow, and if something goes wrong, they don't fly off the handles. They don't get upset. They don't, if something goes wrong in chat, or maybe somebody disagrees with them, they're not gonna try to start a fight. They're not gonna go, or maybe they'll go like, "Hey, I see what you're saying, but I maybe don't agree," or so that's really the two huge things, and obviously kindness goes without saying. But I think if you have a lot of patience, it goes hand in hand.
It does. That is so interesting and so well said, because
Good stretching.
I didn't even realize that's an expectation that I had of people. But it is. Like, you gotta relax a little bit. You gotta, here's the deal, too. We are online. And who knows? You've got about 1,000 different variables that you're fighting against. Bird butt. It's the bird booty cam. Poot Loops says, I'll be honest, I used to be a not so pleasant person. Years ago, I decided I didn't like how I was behaving, and it took a while, and still working on it, to be happy about how I interacted and treat others. That, I think, takes a lot of guts.
Yeah.
It also is true of many people.
Yep.
Many people at this table. I'll speak for myself.
Yep. I'll also speak for you, the worst.
I am the living worst. But no, and you've got, I think a truth to pull out of Poot Loop's statement is it takes work.
Yeah. I was a very angry person.
Me
in my
too.
Just mad, and I didn't have a lot of friends, and I just didn't want to deal with people, and everyone was awful and terrible. But really, it was me. It wasn't anyone else.
And there are certainly days where you're like, oh, the world, and and it's true, and the world is. You're just like, it's driving me nuts.
Have those days.
But it is okay to have those days. But to do what Poot Loops is doing, and is to say, I'm still working on it.
Yeah.
It's a process, and it's
Oh, yeah.
about really taking personal stock
Yeah.
in who you
Personal
are,
inventory. Yep.
personal inventory, and saying, am I who I want to be? Ladies, when you think about that kind of stuff, get in there, newts.
Yeah, he's just going.
Going for it.
When you think about that kind of stuff, when you think about what it means to be a good person, and this is not necessarily as it relates to people who aren't you. This is about you very specifically. Are there things that you say to yourself, I want to do better?
Well, of course there is.
Yeah?
Because everybody can improve in every way, but like not every way, but a lot of ways.
Sure.
Well,
But I like the idea that there's always more to learn, and there's always more to try, and there's always more to. So when you think about times that you may not have treated other people very nicely, or have you been guilty of that?
well, absolutely on my grumpy days.
Yeah. What do you do to bounce back from that?
Well, usually I give an apology and then say why.
Birdie,
That's great. I think
birdie.
it takes a lot of bravery, I think, to step up and say, hey, I really messed up, and I apologize.
Yeah.
So good on you for taking that
Also
step.
really hard when a person is mean to you not to react mean back immediately to them, and just
Yeah.
react.
Yeah.
Just mute.
Yeah, no, he lives there now. He does, yeah. Birds are cool. But, yes. So that's great. It's a great first step.
Sarah Zealand said, my Facebook on this day blank years ago, she says, I realized even last year I was a worse person than I am today.
That's a good
and that
thing.
took a lot of
But
work.
the forward, it's good to be a better person now.
And
Yeah.
it's
Different
good to
way
be
of
able to
taking it.
reflect on who you were and say, I did it. Like, I'm doing it.
Yeah,
I'm making progress.
Yep, making progress. And I don't think you ever realize it in the moment. I think it's definitely something where you look back and go, oh my. I was
Yeah.
I was a garbage human. Here we are now, though. That's pretty cool.
You know, there are moments too where I know I'm doing something. Like I'm like if I'm having my own cranky day or whatever, and I can feel the crankiness brewing, or I'm not necessarily being the best person in the world. I can. There are moments where I step out of myself and I'm like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
You it?
Yep,
I see it coming.
Those days, I lock myself in my room. I close the door. I hang out with my animals. And I don't talk to anyone. Like, on the weekends,
Interesting.
I'm a very social person on the weekdays. But when it comes to the weekends, especially on Sunday, I tend to just turn off everything and recharge.
Yeah.
To help me. Yeah,
I do the
always
same thing. You know, a lot
gotta
of
have
people
those
will.
me days.
This is a little bit of a tired
beautiful.
term, but hey,
job.
nicely
You
done.
just put it
Yeah,
anywhere
let's
you
put it.
want.
Let's put it. Let's put it right.
I like the backdrop of this community discussion of beautiful blocks.
Bye.
Goodbye.
See you later. You know, it's interesting. Chewy mentioned something that I don't even like myself, and I want to tell you there have been times in my life where I felt exactly the same. Where I've said, you know, here I am. I'm, you know, not feeling like I'm accomplishing a thing, or, you know, feeling. You know, we've talked about, you know, feeling down and feeling low, and
Yeah.
and it's
if
not
we're
just
being
as
completely
easy.
honest.
Yeah.
Like, I've had those days up until a couple months, you know, like,
Yeah.
like it's okay. You
Yeah, and also the truth of it is that it's not easy.
know? No.
You know, and I think that you'll hear people say, "Oh, turn that frown upside down," and it's not really that easy. And you're like, it's not that easy.
No.
But the trying is what makes it better.
Yeah.
Scary.
Yeah, that's a good point. Sarah says, stick with the friends who love you when you're at your worst. Those are the best friends.
Yeah.
Let's bring this back to the internet real quick.
The internet.
you
To the
know-
internet.
To the
We did the whole
internet! Yeah. What's that?
I said, weren't we here the whole time?
We're on the internet now.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
I never knew this.
My point being, we are charged with basically getting out there on the internet and doing this kind of stuff. How do you, Timber, recharge in the moment? Because we don't have the luxury at times to say, you know what, I'm out.
Yeah. That's a tricky question because I don't think that I do. I think I have my days where I don't talk to anyone or hang out, but there is, for me, I guess I just take a deep breath. How do I? I kind of. She's Newt is relentless on Kelly right now.
It's like, I want to chew on everything about you.
He might go away for a little bit.
Maybe
Maybe
put
go on
Newt
timeout.
in. Got a little garbage can we keep over here. Just toss Newt in there.
No.
Just kidding. It's a little.
Garbage.
It's a little.
Garbage humor.
There you go. He's in
Little
timeout
garbage
for a bit.
humor.
So yeah, I guess the luxury of being behind a screen is nobody sees me go. Yeah, nobody sees my deep breaths, and that's basically all I do. Is I take a deep breath, maybe I'll have some water, and I think nothing I do is impulsive online. Nothing. Every message is very considered. If you notice that I'm taking a minute to respond, it's because I'm thinking about the best way.
Yeah.
And that's how I handle moments, frustrating moments, things that are, things that I don't want to just give a BS answer for even.
Sure.
Like, not even just frustrated, just like, how do I make this the best quality response? And that's what I do. And on occasion, I'll take a nap here. Like, so I guess
I will too.
Yeah.
Like, just to shut down a little bit, just to kind of unplug and just. Yeah, it's important to me.
That helps.
Yeah.
Pootloop talks about in relationship to Timber's comment. That's interesting. I feel like the internet has the opposite effect on most people. Keyboard trolls and warriors.
Yeah, and I absolutely agree. I've seen it before, and I think it's because it's so easy just to like tap out a nasty response. And on top of that, most of the time you have the anonymity.
Yeah.
To do that.
You feel like you can hide behind.
You're hiding behind Warrior 354.
I'm going to challenge you, though. I'm going to challenge
challenge
you.
me.
And here's why I'm going to challenge you.
Okay.
So that anonymity stuff is true. And there are people that are, that utilize that anonymity as a weapon or a shield to hide behind so that they can be abusive to others. That, you don't do that. Like, if even though you are a professional community builder, that's your trade, that's your skill, that's the life that has chosen you.
He broke out.
New broke out of jail. You are never. You're not the kind of personality that hides behind anonymity to be abusive to others. Like, that's just not a thing you do.
No. And I think that kind of comes from a place of I'm not abusive to others on the internet. And, I think even when I had my aliases, I try not to do that because I don't know, I feel bad. Like, I think I was playing like League of Legends and I called somebody an idiot once and then thought about it for the rest of the day. I was just like, I was upset. Like, if I'm mean to people, I get really upset.
Yeah,
and
I get mad and then it goes right into sad.
Yeah, exactly.
Me too. I get mad and then it goes right into guilt.
Like, oh,
Yeah, like, and honestly,
Bye.
I have, I can sometimes have an explosive reaction to things. Not often, but when that does happen, it's important to remember, like, just reel it in.
Take that breath.
Or, like Ted is a saint because he's definitely had to sit through, and then after, just let me have this. Sometimes you just need a vent. Sometimes you need to just let that stress out.
Yep.
And that's okay too. I don't take it out on others, but
But it's
I would say
also
that's
okay
important.
to recognize you're angry about a thing.
Yeah.
Have that discussion with someone that has the ability to withstand the complaint or the need to
Yeah.
just get it out of your system
"Ah!"
and then let it go.
Yep, and it's always over dumb stuff. My computer won't turn on, and I can't do it. Ugh, you know.
So I do want to say,
See.
Chewy just mentioned, talking about
Oh, Chewy.
enjoying us and that we bring joy to Chewy, and that we are good friends, which is, now this is interesting, which is sad since I don't even know you guys. And here's something that's very interesting to me. It took me a long time to come to terms to embrace the fact that the friends that you have on the internet are just as powerful
Yeah.
and just as important as people that you know
Yes,
in your real life.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's interesting to me that as a culture and as people, we are more inclined to accept that the negative judgments that people give us online and react in an angry, hurt, emotional way to the negativity, but somehow label the important, positive, moving things as not quite real because
Yeah.
it's the internet. And I had a real hard time with that.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't really go out tonight, friends. I've got an online obligation. Like that is the weirdest thing to say to people.
Yeah, yeah.
But, have you folks, I know, Kimber, you talked a bit about interacting with friendly people online and how much it means to you. Sariana, do you have people that you talk to online that you care as much about as people you know in the real world?
Well, I don't really have friends online unless I know them in person.
Okay,
That's a great,
and that's good,
start,
and
yeah.
that's okay. I know you harass me all the time online. Well, via text anyway. Timber, do you have friends that meaningful, powerful relationships with people that you have never met?
Yes, I have a lot of that. I think Twitter is especially a powerful tool for me to connect with my friends.
You're going too high.
I'm constant. Oh,
Oh, yeah, it works. Yeah,
there we
good.
go. Yeah.
Yes, nice.
Okay, we'll move this. God, those are so
Oh
cool.
gosh.
So yeah, absolutely. I love my internet friends.
Did you ever have a period of time where you said to yourself, internet friends aren't as important?
No, they've always been
They've
super.
always- okay,
They've
okay.
always been lovely. So a little background, Troy, since we're on this question.
Yeah.
I grew up with the internet. My dad built some of the first computers. We had it in
Yeah,
our
me
house
too.
as soon as. Yeah, I know. As being fresh, I thought you were too young for the internet.
I don't even
really.
know. Internet? I don't know.
Yeah.
What is that? What is computer?
What
use,
is how I
use
computer? But I grew up with internet friends. I didn't have a lot of real friends in high school, so my friends were online. My friends were in AOL, in chat rooms, and in role-playing chat rooms.
Yeah.
Shout out to Red Dragon Inn. So I grew up with internet friends.
Yeah.
They were a part of my life from the beginning.
It's interesting. Pulup said, my online friends are the only reason I made it through middle school and part of high school.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
folks.
exactly.
Guilt saved me during my darkest times.
Same.
Amen.
Absolutely the same. I will tell you this to folks like Chewy. I don't know if Trickster's out there. I don't know about. There are people in our community that we are incredibly fond of. Docsars, Pootloops. There are people that we really value that have made a huge difference, and it's an interesting position for Timber and I to be in because, again, we do this professionally, but our heart's in it.
Yeah.
So that is to say, ultimately, Jack says some of the greatest friends I've made are from the online drawing sites and role playing. I used to run an Ask blog, and it was some of the greatest times I've had with an online community.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's fantastic, and that's the kind of stuff that fuels you and makes you feel good. A lot of people think and talk about the internet as, everyone's looking at their phone or doing their thing, and there is some truth to that. But there are opportunities like the ones we're trying to build where we sit here and have important conversations about good stuff specific to online games and making relationships. I like that.
It's a tender move.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Kelly, how about you and your relationship with folks online? Do you have friends that you've never met?
Oh no.
Not really. I can't say that
You're
I
all right.
do. I'm very, like I said before, I'm very protective.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I think that's really fair.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about this is that there's no universal like
Answer.
yeah. I mean you know and you've got to live your life and how a lot of this is very invasive
Yeah.
stuff.
But I do know of, speaking of guilds and everything, two of my best friends who work at Blizzard now, they met in a guild and they're married.
Oh, that's cute.
They've been married for 6 years.
Oh.
Well, Zealand
There's
Zealand
amazing
brings her her bae into the studio and they met online.
Cute.
They moved here from Chicago, yeah? Wait, so he moved to Zealand's just off screen, hanging out on what we call the potato. It's a giant, comfy potato where we hang out and nap or lay down when we get motion sickness from virtual reality. But did you both move here? So Sarah moved here from Chicago, and your man moved here from New York, and you both moved to Seattle?
Yep.
Wow.
That is a journey.
Okay, and how important and significant? I mean, that's a relationship. Chewy says, perhaps to his recollection, that his cousin met her husband playing WoW. That is
so cute.
that is amazing. I mean, so all of this is to say different. Different strokes for different folks, but at the end of the day, relationships are relationships. And if you feel good about it, and if you feel connected to people, even though you haven't necessarily met them, it's real.
It's real. It's there.
Feelings are real.
Feelings are
And
real.
valid, and it's great.
Verified.
It is ridiculous that it is such a simple statement, but so true.
Yeah.
Because it's very easy for people, I honestly believe, so one of the skills that I bring to the craft of community management is I like to call myself the troll whisperer.
Yes.
That isn't to say, I'm not throwing out a challenge for people to come and be abusive to me. But I'll tell you, one of the things that folks don't realize is that if you're a member of a community, of a gaming community, and you're talking to community people who are, in charge of managing community stuff, we know where you live. And
Okay.
and so if you're being abusive and if you're being angry, there's no anonymity. And so my point is, there is a person for a game that I won't mention. They called in a bomb threat, and that's a serious prison time kind of serious thing. I don't know what at the time I was like, what is this person thinking? We were also terrified. Literally, bomb squad studio, everybody out of the studio, pulled later in the week, pulled signs off, and this person was going to be in some serious trouble. I thought to myself, okay, I know people. There's something going on here.
Yeah.
There's a problem here. And so I called them. I literally called them at home and said, hey,
What up?
this is
Going on?
Ether. You called in a bomb threat. And I want to talk about it. Like, are you okay?
Yeah. I think that's a very special skill you have, is you always give the second chance. And not a whole lot of people do.
And
Always.
for good reason.
Yeah.
There are definitely times where it is especially in the world of games, we can't have poisonous, venomous people abusing other folks. You want some tape? Being abusive or being, Here you go. How about this? Want some more?
I wonder where the other purple and red one is.
Oh,
okay?
dang it.
How's that?
You nailed it.
There you go.
There you go.
Sariana's got her tape, but also I feel like there are moments where you can say, "Hey, you are." I can tell you're hurting.
Yeah.
So what's going on? You know, where are you at? Where's your head at? Let's talk about it. And I've had people, this particular person was in a lot of pain, emotional pain, physical pain. They had a loved one pass, and they were angry and out of control, and just needed someone to say, "Hey." This is one of my favorite things to say. Do you see me seeing you being a jerk? Like, are you witnessing that I get it? What's wrong?
Right.
Like, what's happening in your head? And it just sort of takes all of that venom out, and it makes it, Now that isn't to say that there aren't people who sadly have not been able to. How you doing over here? You can use this tape.
So I have a question, Troy. Do you have a limit? Is there times where you're like, I can't with this behavior? Oh, and Dogstar, and
Oh,
We've never
I-
done this before.
no, this is really nice.
Really appreciate all you guys.
Yeah, we really do. Honestly, I mean, no lies. I mean, like this is a
live stream.
yeah, right. Well,
We
I
definitely
think what's
The chat is crying.
I know, but I think it's interesting that we don't have more of these opportunities to just be grateful and to thank people for and also to say, take a time out. Where you at? Is there a line?
Yeah. Do you have?
I haven't necessarily found it yet. There definitely are people that I have had to shut down, but not in a. I can't recall who those people are. But that isn't. There's always a first.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm not equipped to remember.
You just block it out.
Whoop, didn't happen.
No, that's fair.
Block.
Yeah, block it out.
With all the internet turmoil, I was just
And there's just too
curious.
much of
There
it.
is. And it does have me thinking. I also have not found that line, but I don't know what that line would be. Like, at what point do I go, I can't help you. I can't do that.
Say I have
To walk
protect
away.
myself,
Yeah.
This is
I'm thinking about it a little bit.
Right.
The times where I've been the most, I will say, aggressive about protecting people is when I have to protect people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
like,
that's
if someone at this table, or Kimber or Sariana or Timber or Kelly, were attacked in an online fashion, I would handle it.
Yes.
You
And
gotta fix it.
I will
I'd
say,
fix it.
I have seen Mama Bear Troy. Only once, and it was not an online situation. It was the rental car. Do you remember the rental car situation?
No.
They flew me up here before I started officially working to kind of get acclimated, and they wouldn't give me a rental car.
That would have made me furious.
Yeah, and he goes, hand me the, let me talk to them. And I could hear him through the phone on my side. Oh,
Was I being a jerk? That poor
I don't know
person must
about a
hate my
jerk,
guts.
but you're very firm when you want to be, and it's the only time I've ever seen Troy.
I'm usually just
upset.
I'm just a goof normally.
Yeah,
Like, I'm just a silly,
And I remember thinking, like, wow, this person, Troy's really gonna have my back when I need it, cause like a rental car. I remember thinking, like, well, this is kind of not so good. And I want to talk to them. I was like, okay. No problem. Here you go. And I remember I apologized. Because I was like, oh no. Like, God forbid they give me a car. Who knows what they'll give me?
Oh, that
But yeah,
better
it
have
was
been a
funny.
good one.
It was
That's all I'm
Yeah,
saying.
like-
But no,
yeah.
those are the times. Like,
Yeah.
if I feel like there are people around me, if I know them or not, I will tend to even at the. I think maybe at the risk of damaging my own self, like oh God, I remember a Mama Bear choice situation.
What?
I'm wondering.
With all three of us, I'm thinking.
So it must have been a TwitchCon thing.
Yeah, that's.
Is that? Are we close?
I don't know. I'm curious now, though.
I just think that I have yet to be dissuaded of the idea or tricked into thinking that I believe all people can be good. Now,
And
not,
at your
not that
age,
they
that's
are
impressive.
good, that they can be.
They can be good. No, and I think that's a good way to say it is I think people are generally born good, but experience chips away at people slowly.
Life can kind of run you down.
Yeah,
or,
and I think that's important when dealing with people who seem to be having a hard time or seem to be aggressive. And
Sure.
And the best way, and you really taught me this, is to really come at it, kill them with kindness. Like, it's really, I've yet to have a situation where I don't come at them the way you have shown me the best way to handle that.
I feel like you came to the table with those skills.
I think so
sister.
too, but I'd say you reinforce that as the right thing to do, because you never know, like, I was just doing it because it felt like the right thing to do, but to have that validation of this is the right thing to do, especially professionally, because I had never done it quite professionally before, so that's, I should say it that way. That I've never had a negative reaction, even if the initial reaction was quite negative.
One of my favorite things, and I definitely, V-Real Party, you'll remember soon. V-Real Party.
I think I know what he was talking about, though I was not directly involved.
Wow, did I do something?
Yeah, we'll
Was I,
talk.
was I protecting somebody?
Yeah, I think you were protecting Poots, if I remember correctly.
Oh.
It's,
Oh!
no, Troy protects his people. Troy protects his people.
I do remember.
Yes, especially
I
at con
remember.
parties, things can get a little dicey, and Troy's who you want at those.
I definitely at times can feel a little bit of a sixth sense when I'm around people and folks feel uncomfortable. And for those of you out there, a lot of the people who are in our community, I see in you we're remembering the same thing.
Yeah.
I see in you, in your actions and the things that you do. Perfect example. Again, sorry, Chewy, to keep bringing you up, but like that's real skill and talent to be able to organize people in an online way. I mean, organizing people in the online space, it's hard enough at this table, but doing it in the online space is crazy. It's madness.
Yeah.
But to see
Sparta.
Chewy, I think we do. That'd be fun. It'd be fun if we all played VR chat. But I do think that there are people who have an innate ability to do online community stuff.
Yeah.
And community stuff because it's not that different than doing real world community stuff. And that's
No,
like
not
working
at
at
all.
nonprofits or working, with the public.
Yeah.
But we are forced to be in public places.
Yeah,
Sadly,
yeah.
we have the Drake Kelly with us sometimes. We go to an event, we're like, hey, Kelly, can you do us a favor and take all the good pictures of us as we're, And sometimes the people that you interact with get a little creepy.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know why.
I definitely can.
And I've seen that
attest to
happen. I've seen it happen to
Yeah.
friends who are in chat, and I have a sixth sense for that kind of thing, where I'm like, that person's gross, and I'm gonna
Let's avoid that.
and I'm gonna go ahead and intercede and be
Yeah.
like, hey, how you doing? You probably should leave.
Yeah, Newt is very shy today. Oh, and he's on the floor.
Newt,
He made it. He recovered.
Newt really wants to take a nibble. Oh yeah.
Eat some glue. Yeah,
Eats-
immediately. It's like, oh, Mod Podge. Love the smell of Mod Podge, by the way. Fun fact.
Smells like carrots.
You do,
I love
or
it.
Like
Newt?
carrots to you, huh?
Huh.
Wow.
Carrots.
Oh,
Oh gosh.
There you go.
Nice catch, lady.
there you go, Newt.
Careful, you.
Definitely gonna happen again.
We've got about 5 minutes left.
All right. Wow, that went fast.
Sure did.
You can.
That went so fast. I
That
didn't
did
get
go
mine.
fast.
Fondue.
I want to say, I know we're making so many blocks.
Oopsies. Okay.
Hey, Discord just raised over $1,000 for
Wow!
charity.
Speaking
supplying
of great
US
things,
troops.
good
That
job,
is
Discord.
nice.
Good job.
Video games matter. Video games matter. Community
Destroying
community
lives
groups
matter.
are important, and our I know Newt is totally taking care of business here. You know, I like feelings are important.
Yeah.
But I do also want to say that I appreciate everyone at the table for hanging out and having this conversation.
Yeah.
Not necessarily easy,
No.
but we should get better at it just to be able to talk about our expectations and why we love what we do
Yeah.
and what we'll do in circumstances or situations where we're faced with online trouble. But can I say, and I'm going to shut up and turn it over to Timber, but man, our community is the best.
The best.
I mean, no lie. No lie. We have a deep and abiding respect and love for what you're doing. And it makes what we're doing so much fun.
Yeah.
And valuable.
Special and valuable and just.
It also makes us
Incredible.
really fight for the stuff that you want.
Yeah. Yeah, it really does.
We'll
It really
go
does.
toe to toe.
Every opinion
yeah.
really matters.
It really does.
Yeah. Because it's coming from our friends.
It is.
Delicious blocks.
Delicious blocks,
That's
chewing
having
on
the
the
best time of his
blocks.
life right now. The glue. I love the glue art so much. Okay, guys, so it is sadly time to wrap up this love fest, but don't worry, it does not end when the stream ends, as you know.
Or when Newt falls into the glue.
Can't tell you how many times he's landed in a garbage. A lot. Anyway, on to announcements.
Woo!
Announcements. So, unfortunately, Pooh did have to postpone his community night, so heads up, that is not taking place today, but we do encourage you to hop in game and start your own community
Yeah.
gaming after this stream ends. How he is chewing on things. I like garbage bird.
Yeah.
He's a garbage bird. Anyway, and of course we have approvals tomorrow. That's
Yeah.
the 8th. And then again, we are going to have a brand new happy hour host, Barely Casual. She was
Hey!
super, super excited. She was part of the PDX stream, the Twitch Portland, speaking of Twitch groups. Fantastic. Can't wait to have her on. That's going to be starting at 4 o'clock.
Right on.
Yep, as usual, Pacific time. And then, and also, yeah, again, Barely Casual. Check her out on Twitter, same name.
Yep.
And then our next stream will be, of course, Maker Monday. So we will catch you Monday on the 12th, live. I had
Live.
That's it. Of
Yeah.
course, check us out on Discord if you are not in there. Where am I looking? Over here. We're gonna check it out.
This
This area.
Out. You can unlock for our
did
Instagram. Play Quirk. You guys know the drill. And we will catch you on the flip side. Goodbye.
That's right. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye. Say goodbye, Newt.
Bye,
Stop eating glue.
Newt.
Stop. Get that out of your mouth. That has Mod Podge on it.
What are we going to do with all these boxes?
Let's build a map.
Let's build them.
I'd like you all
Let's-
to take
let's
note
actually-
that there's no lava in here.
Yeah, right? Because lava.
Yeah.